पिटीशन डिसमिस होने जा रही है, इन्होंने उसको विड्रॉ किया। आज विषय आया नॉमिनेटेड मेंबर्स की वोटिंग का, उस पर उन्होंने हंगामा किया। उन्होंने यहाँ तक हंगामा किया कि जो मतदान की प्रक्रिया प्रोटेम स्पेशल ऑफिसर ने डिसाइड की, उस पर हंगामा किया। यानी एक विषय पर हंगामा नहीं किया, लगातार हंगामा करते रहे। और जैसा आज सुबह हमने आपको बताया था कि वो भाजपा के पार्षदों को खरीदने के लिए जो शराब घोटाले में जो पैसा उनके पास आया है, 2-2, 4-4 करोड़ रुपए एक एक वोट के लिए दे रहे हैं। और स्टैंडिंग कमेटी में वोट डाली जाए, यहां डाली जाए, वहां डाली, इसकी बात कर रहे हैं। और जब भाजपा के पार्षदों ने ये सवाल पूछा कि पार्षदों को खरीदने की जो कोशिश की गई आम आदमी पार्टी ने, केजरीवाल जी ने और उनके लोगों ने उस पर अपना विरोध दर्ज किया, तो उस विरोध को दबाने के लिए वो तमाम तरह की बातें करते रहे। हमारा ये कहना है कि दिल्ली के महापौर का चुनाव संपन्न होना चाहिए, दिल्ली के स्थायी समिति का गठन होना चाहिए। और जब से आम आदमी पार्टी आई है, पहली बार हो रहा है कि दिल्ली में इस तरह का अराजकता का वातावरण। क्या इससे पहले नगर निगम के चुनाव नहीं हुए थे क्या? कई बार 3 बार लगातार भारतीय जनता पार्टी पावर में रही, एक बार कांग्रेस भी रही, उससे पहले भारतीय जनता पार्टी रही। तो हर बार बहुत शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से ये सारी प्रक्रिया संपन्न होती थी। क्योंकि ये लोग सत्ता में है दिल्ली में, उसके बावजूद दिल्ली की असेंबली खुद ही नहीं चलने देते। सत्तारूढ़ दल असेंबली ना चलने दे, ऐसा कभी आपने सुना नहीं होगा। जो लोग जिनके बहुमत में है पार्षद, वो सदन ना चलने दें, ये पहली बार हो रहा है। हम केजरीवाल जी से पूछना चाहते हैं, ये हंगामा कब तक करते रहेंगे आप? कब तक दिल्ली के लोगों को इस प्रकार से आपके दुर्व्यवहार का सामना करना पड़ेगा? आप कब तक इसी तरह से झूठ फरेब की राजनीति करते रहेंगे? हम इसकी कड़े शब्दों में निंदा करते हैं। मैं अपनी बात को यहीं समाप्त करता हूं और मैं चाहूँगा कि हमारे आदरणीय सांसद रमेश बिदुड़ी जी।
मित्रों, आप सबका स्वागत तो है ही। विजेंद्र जी की बात को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं आपके सम्मुख ये रखना चाहता हूँ कि जो आम आदमी पार्टी का ट्वीट और उनके एक स्पोक्स पर्सन ये कहते हैं कि संविधान को आग लगा दे दिया, जिनका मुख्यमंत्री कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पद पर बैठने वाला रिपब्लिक डे की परेड पर रेल भवन के सामने धरने पर बैठ जाता है, वो संविधान की बातें कर रहे हैं। जिनका एक मंत्री 6 महीने तो जेल में रहकर सारी फैसिलिटीज ले रहा है और वो आज भी मंत्री बना हुआ है, वो संविधान की बात कर रहे हैं। जिनके 2 विधायक सजायाफ्ता विधायक, उनको वोट डालने के लिए नॉमिनेट कर दिया, ये संविधान की बात कर रहे हैं। पीठासीन अधिकारी जो होता है उसके पास कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल समझने का अधिकार होता है। हमारे देश में व्यवस्थाएं हैं, पंचायत जो भी संबंधित सरकार है। 1991 में कानून बना था, हमने नहीं बनाया, कांग्रेस शासन में थी। तब एनसीटी एक्ट में बड़ा क्लियर था कि दिल्ली पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा नहीं है, लैंड लॉ ये सेंटर के पास होगी। और केंद्र सरकार, दिल्ली की जो सरकार है वो केंद्र की सरकार के अधीन होगी दिल्ली के अंदर। बाकी राज्यों में निकाय है, पंचायत जहां होते हैं आप जानते हैं, मुख्यमंत्री जी के अधीन होते हैं, वहां की सरकार के अधीन होते, सेंटर का कोई इंटरफेरेंस नहीं होता। ये संविधान में अधिकार दिया हुआ है। ये कोई केजरीवाल साहब ने या उनके प्रवक्ता सौरभ जी की खैरात के रूप में ऑनरेबल लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब नहीं बैठे हुए हैं। ये अपने दिमाग से गलतफहमी निकाल दे। तो जो गलत शब्दों का इस्तेमाल माननीय राज्यपाल जी के बार वो करके और अपना परिचय देते हैं संविधान की दुहाई देने वाले लोग। मैं उनसे पूछना चाहता हूं, जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में 2016 में हाईकोर्ट के आदेश में सेक्शन 3 के अंदर क्लियर है कि नॉमिनेटेड जो पार्षद एल्डरमैन है वो दे कैन कास्ट देयर वोट, और वो डाल भी रहे वोट वहां पर समिति जॉन्स के अंदर पहले से डाल रहे हैं। पहले मेयर के अंदर किसी ने ध्यान इसलिए दिया कि थंबिंग मेजॉरिटी के लोग आते रहे हैं, छोड़ो हमारी तो सरकार बन रही है। अब ये थंबिंग मेजॉरिटी में 151 आने के बाद भी डर रहे हैं चुनाव से। हमारे 7 सांसद हैं, 10 एल्डरमैन नॉमिनेटेड हैं, अगर वो हमारे मान के चले तो वैसे तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सब, एक विधायक है, हमारी गिनती तो 130-22 बनती है। आपकी तो 151 बनती है, तो 121 वाले से 151 वाला चुनाव लड़ने से क्यों डरता है? क्यों कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की दुहाई देकर लोगों को गुमराह करना चाहते हो? क्योंकि आपने जो टिकटें बेची थी 50 लाख 1 करोड़ में, जैसे मीडिया के सूत्र होते हैं, हमारे पास भी कुछ सूत्र हैं। केजरीवाल साहब के पास भी सूत्र आते थे कि मनीष सिसोदिया गिरफ्तार किए जाने वाले हैं, तुरंत सूत्र बताते थे ना केजरीवाल साहब को। हमारे पास भी सूत्र हैं कि जिन लोगों को मनीष सिसोदिया जी, ब्रजेश पाठक जी ने टिकटें बेची थी 50 लाख से 1 करोड़, ऐसे कम से कम 50 से 55 पार्षद जीत कर आए हैं। वो कहते हैं कि तुमने टिकट दी, हम जीते, हमें 1 करोड़ रुपए ढंग से दिया गया, 90 लाख लिए गए, हमारे पैसे लौटाइए, हम तब वोट कास्ट करेंगे जी, हमारा पैसा लौटाइए, हम जीत कर आएंगे। इसी कारण आपको ध्यान होगा डिप्टी मेयर के भी नॉमिनेशन इनको डबल ट्रिपल भरने पड़े और बड़ी मुश्किल से 2 दिन की जद्दोजहद के बाद एक का विड्रॉ कराना पड़ा था जी। तो कुछ तो मजबूरियां रही होगी ना। तो इसीलिए आप जो बार बार ये आरोप लगाकर भाग जाने का काम करते हैं कि दूसरे के ऊपर थूक और भाग जाओ, वो बड़ा तुम्हारे पीछे पीछे भागता रहेगा। तो आज तक जैसे भी नेता प्रतिपक्ष रहे जिंदगी 5 साल, पार्टी के अध्यक्ष ने कहा है कि दुनिया की रूलिंग पार्टी ने आज तक कभी भी हाउस को डिस्टर्ब किया है क्या? पहले दिन उन्होंने शुरुआत की, आज भी उन्होंने शुरुआत की। अगर आपके पास 151 पूर्ण बहुमत है और सबसे बड़ा दुर्भाग्य देखिए कितने झूठे लोग हैं। इनका आज प्रवक्ता कहता है कि भाजपा के सांसद पार्षद दिल्ली से बाहर थे, वो आए नहीं, उनको तो पहले से ही, ये देखो कैसे गुमराह करते गरीब शरीफ लोगों को, दिल्ली वालों को, कि उनको मालूम है चुनाव कराएंगे ही नहीं हम। जिम्मेवारी के साथ में बात केजरीवाल साहब मनीष सिसोदिया बोले और एमसीडी के रजिस्टर में चेक करें कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के 7 सांसद, 1 विधायक और सभी 105 पार्षदों के साइन है नियमों पर जी। तो ऐसा झूठ बोलकर भागने का जो इनकी प्रवृत्ति है, तो इसीलिए दिल्ली के लोग जो मेयर का इंतजार कर रहे हैं, दिल्ली के डेवलपमेंट का काम शुरू हो, एक और भय हमें लगता है, वो भी सूत्रों से जानकारी मिली है कि कहीं मेयर जो बन गया पूरी दिल्ली का आम आदमी पार्टी में, और आज विड्रॉ करने के नाम पर टू कर रहे हैं, कहीं मेयर बन गया तो इक्वल मेरे खड़ा ना हो जाए और केंद्र सरकार की दी हुई योजना पैसा निगम के माध्यम से वो कहीं मेरी बराबर ताकत ना बन जाए। इसीलिए ये उन लोगों को पकाना चाहते हैं विचारों को, जो मेयर के कैंडिडेट हैं कि देखो केजरीवाल के बगैर कुछ नहीं होगा। इसीलिए अपनी ताकत बनाए रखने के लिए दिल्ली के 2 करोड़ लोगों को चीट करने का काम मिस्टर केजरीवाल साहब दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री कर रहे हैं। ये मेरा उनसे सवाल है कि आपके माध्यम से 131 के हाउस, 151 का हाउस वाला क्यों वोट डालने से डर रहा है? फिर कहते हैं हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे। हमने कब मना किया? लोकतंत्र में कोई कहीं भी जा सकता है। किसको मना किया? आप गए भी थे, आपने विड्रॉ भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट से किया है, किसने मना किया है? आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी जाइए, अर्लियर डेज में जाइए केजरीवाल के में कि मशीनों में गड़बड़ थी, मशीनों में, तो अब पार्षद आपके काबू में नहीं है, तो ये फिर भी कह सकते हैं देखो भाजपा ने पिछले चोर दरवाजे से मेयर बना दिया। भाई कोई अपनी अंतरात्मा से वोट डालेगा अगर और भाजपा का मेयर बन गया, इससे बड़ी एम्बेरसमेंट दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री के लिए नहीं हो सकती है कि जिसकी लास्ट इलेक्शन में 57% वोट मिली और अब एमसीडी में 15 साल की एंटी इनकम्बेंसी के बाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 39% मिली और केजरीवाल साहब को 42% वोट मिले हैं। केवल 42% नहीं, 57 से 42 आप आगे हैं। तो इसीलिए वो भी भय केजरीवाल साहब के अंदर है। तो इसीलिए दिल्ली के लोगों के साथ में विश्वासघात करने का काम दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री और उनकी मंडली कर रही है।
हर्ष मल्होत्रा जी, हमारे महामंत्री एक महत्वपूर्ण घोषणा करेंगे। पत्रकार मित्रों का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन है। अभी जैसे मेरे से पूर्व आदरणीय विजेंद्र जी और आदरणीय रमेश विजुड़ी जी ने सारी स्थिति स्पष्ट की है, उसमें मैं सिर्फ इतना जोड़ना जरूर चाहता हूं, आप पिछले 2 और आज का तीनों आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं का अलग अलग कारण है हाउस एडजर्न करवाने का, और एडमिट भी कर रहे हैं अपने ट्वीट में। आप पिछले 2 और आज का तीनों दिन का एपिसोड देखिए। तीनों दिनों के एपिसोड में आम आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं का अलग अलग कारण है हाउस एडजर्न करवाने का, और एडमिट भी कर रहे हैं अपने ट्वीट में। उनको सबसे बड़ा भय इसी बात का है, और ये सिद्ध हो गया था जब उनके मेयर के लिए अधिकृत कैंडिडेट के अलावा भी मेयर और डिप्टी मेयर के लिए अगले दिन उन्हीं के पार्षदों ने नॉमिनेशन फाइल किया था। उनको 2 दिन लग गए थे उसे विड्रॉ करने में, और उनको अभी लगभग 1 महीना हो गया है उनको अपने पार्षदों को यह समझाने में कि वो अपने अधिकृत कैंडिडेट के पक्ष में मेयर डिप्टी मेयर स्टैंडिंग के लिए वोट दें। तो ये भी एक बड़ा कारण है जिसके कारण से वो बार बार खुद ही हाउस एडजर्न करते हैं। बहाना कुछ भी है, हर बार अलग अलग बहाना है, और ये मंशा सुबह से ही आम आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं के ट्वीट और प्रेस के वक्तव्य में, चाहे वो मनीष जी हो, सौरभ हो, बाकी नेताओं से भी समझ में आनी शुरू हो गई थी कि आज का हाउस भी वही लोग एडजर्न कराएंगे। इन सब बातों को देखते हुए भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने ये पार्षद और हाउस के अंदर जो हमारे नॉमिनेटेड सांसद हैं, हमारे एक विधायक हैं, उन सब ने ये तय किया है कि कल आम आदमी पार्टी के दफ्तर के बाहर हम एक प्रदर्शन करेंगे और केजरीवाल और उनकी पार्टी के लोगों को ये बताना चाहेंगे प्रदर्शन के माध्यम से, मीडिया के माध्यम से, कि आप दिल्ली को मेयर तुरंत दीजिए। इसके लिए आप बहानेबाजी और विरोध प्रदर्शन करेंगे, और उसके लिए कोई बहानेबाजी करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एक एक पार्षद इस बात के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है कि दिल्ली को उसका मेयर डिप्टी मेयर स्टैंडिंग के मेंबर मिलने चाहिए ताकि एमसीडी का काम सुचारू रूप से प्रारंभ हो सके। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जो सदन में हमारे लोग होने चाहिए, जिसमें चुने हुए पार्षद, एल्डरमैन, हमारे सांसद और एक विधायक, ये सभी केवल यही लोग प्रदर्शन करेंगे, वहां पर विरोध प्रदर्शन करेंगे। सारे वोटर्स बिल्कुल।
रमेश जी ऐसा पहली बार हो रहा है जब एल्डरमैन वोट करेगा, वो भी मेयर पहली बार हो रहा है। इसी बात को ऑब्जेक्शन आम आदमी पार्टी उठा रही है। कहते आ रहे हैं कि एलजी ने नॉमिनेट किया सत्या शर्मा को, जो
खतरा में
इतिहास में इतिहास में बहुत काम पहली बार हुए हैं। सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक भी पहली बार हुई है इतिहास में। 80 करोड़।
News in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए, और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact, on Sunday said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94 loan lending apps with Chinese links on an urgent and emergency basis. Raking up the issue of Vinod Adani, Congress asked why no central agency has so far investigated against Gautam Adani. Congress trailed guns at the BJP, saying why has he not been questioned so far. Telangana Chief
Vadra Congress shifts the goalpost. Protests over Adani despite government agreeing to discuss Adani issue. No Delhi mayor elections for the third time amid major face-off between the Aam Aadmi Party and BJP. Yogi government slaps National Security Act on the two men involved in burning of Ramcharitmanas. .4 magnitude of earthquake jolts Turkey. At least 76 people killed in Turkey, 42 dead in Syria.
तो 40 करोड़ लोगों की संवेदनाएं सभी भूकंप पीड़ितों के साथ हैं। भारत भूकंप पीड़ितों की हर संभव मदद के लिए तत्पर है।
Prime Minister Modi expresses solidarity with Turkey, extends all possible help and relief operations. Bengaluru bases composed Ricky Cage makes India proud, wins third Grammy for Best Immersive Audio Album. A very good afternoon and thank you for staying tuned. This is Live and Breaking at 2:30. I'm Suesh Assam, continuing to stay live from the newsroom where the top story we are tracking is how the deadlock in the parliament continues. Remember, the opposition is demanding that there must be a detailed discussion on the Adani controversy, and not just that, an investigation, the formation of a joint parliamentary probe that must be carried out to look into the allegations that have been levelled by Hindenburg. But it is the centre now saying that they are agreeing for a debate on the same. However, the deadlock in the parliament that continues. Just a short while ago, when we had cut into the live proceedings of the parliament, the Rajya Sabha that had been adjourned, and similar ruckus that we saw in the Lok Sabha, where the opposition is continuing to not hold constructive business on the floor of the house. This, as we stay with these pictures from Jammu to Hyderabad to Bengaluru to Chennai, all across the country, we see the opposition up in arms, staging protests that there must be a debate on the Adani controversy. Not just that, the opposition all along has been alleging that it is the centre that is in cahoots with the billionaire, and now we see a solid divide as it is the opposition going after the government, saying that there must be a debate. Let's listen into what Mallikarjun Kharge has said.
कि 267 की जो नोटिस हमने दी है, जी, उस नोटिस पे चर्चा होनी चाहिए, जी, और उसमें डिटेल चर्चा करने के लिए हम तैयार हैं, जी, क्योंकि ये इशू एक हमारे राष्ट्रपति जी के अभिभाषण से संबंधित नहीं है
जी
ये अलग विषय है
जी।
इसीलिए हम चाहते हैं कि ये विषय को पहले ले लीजिए
जी
और प्रेसिडेंट का जो भाषण है
जी।
उसके ऊपर हम सभी लोग बोलने को तैयार है
जी
और उनकी जो गरिमा है
जी।
या जो हमारे पास हमेशा प्रेसिडेंट के स्पीच के लिए जो महत्व देते हैं
जी।
वो तो हम देते रहेंगे और देंगे, लेकिन पहला हमारा मुद्दा ये है
जी।
जो आज गड़बड़ी पूरे देश में हो रही
जी।
है नेशनली और इंटरनेशनली जो ये सब्जेक्ट आज उठा है इसके ऊपर मोदी जी जवाब दे।
तो सरकार क्यों नहीं चाहती इस पर चर्चा कराना?
नहीं मुझे मालूम नहीं क्यों डर रही है
जी
क्योंकि वो चाहती है
जी
कि ये भी मुद्दा नहीं उठना चाहिए, चर्चा नहीं होना चाहिए,
जी।
इसको किसी ढंग से अवॉइड करना चाहते हैं
जी
और वो रिकॉर्ड में नहीं लाना चाहते हैं।
सर बहुत
कब तक ये जारी रहेगा प्रोटेस्ट आप लोगों का इस तरह से?
नहीं अब तो एवरी डे वी आर टेकिंग स्टॉक क्योंकि हर पार्टी के लोगों को हम रोज इकट्ठा करके एक होके यूनाइटेडली फाइट कर रहे हैं।
Joining me is a senior BRS leader K. Keshav Rao. Sir, today once again you're going to press for the demand for a discussion on Adani issue. What are you going to do this, sir?
Well, when it comes, we'll tell you what is happening. You entire world knows about it. Every paper you open it, you have the Adani issue only. So that is what we are going to discuss. You see, many things are not known to us also. We should know. It is the papers are coming. We must know the right person. The horse's mouth it must come. The government must explain to us what exactly is happening. What they are saying is today, when see the papers, the semis engineers, they are trying to find fault with their auditors found fault with the funding agencies. So all these things come up when you discuss.
The government is saying that it is very much ready to have a discussion. It is saying that first come on the floor.
What did you say?
Government is saying they first come on the floor and have a discussion on the presidential speech.
Come to the floor. I'm going to the floor. You would see me at the floor. I have given a notice for adjournment asking all the subjects to be adjourned, suspended, and this Adani issue be taken up. So there is a focused discussion, debate on the Adani. That is what we are every day asking. 4 days. You are running away. And you say the opposition is running away. Who is running away? I am going in the car. I am running to parliament only.
The government is saying that it has nothing to do with the Adani issue. In fact, a statement have already come in from different agencies, be it about SEBI or LIC, or from the government has also said.
I must know in this country the government has nothing to do with it. Who has something to do with it? And what action the government trying to take against those issues which don't come under the government thing? You see, these are the issues. Exactly, I must discuss these issues. If they don't come, I am not saying government is responsible for anything.
Government is ready for discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. They are autonomous, they are independent bodies, they will do it. So we want to tell them that this fast running by few parties. See, there are many things the government says there is a hypocrisy that we let me expose them on the floor of the house or outside also. If they want a discussion, all that we want is a discussion on Adani.
Last question, sir. If government does not listen to a demand, are you planning to protest it in front of a Gandhi statue?
That way we do it. I'm going to that video only. You are stopping me.
देखिए हमारा मीटिंग होगी अभी, विपक्ष सारे इकट्ठा होंगे, विपक्ष सारे बैठ के चर्चा करके फैसला लिया जाएगा। ये कोई कांग्रेस पार्टी के अकेले मुद्दा नहीं है, हिंदुस्तान के आम जनता के मुद्दा है। तो हमारी सबको साथ चर्चा करके ये निर्णय लिया जाएगा कि क्या करना चाहिए नहीं। आजकल निर्मला सीतारमण जी को प्रधानमंत्री जी तैनात करते हैं हर बात में, कम से कम ऑटोक्रेसी तो नहीं करते। आज की सरकार चलता है जिसको कहते हैं कि ऑटोक्रेट, और जो नियम वो अपनाते हैं उसको कहते हैं ऑटोक्रेसी। मैंने निर्मला सीतारमण जी को ये सलाह देना चाहते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में डेमोक्रेसी बरकरार रही है, ऑटोक्रेसी के बदले डेमोक्रेसी बरकरार रही है, और हिपोक्रेसी है या नहीं है ये तो सदन में पता चलेगी। हमारे जो बात हम रखते हैं वो हिपोक्रेसिक बात नहीं रखते, इसमें कोई हिपोक्रेसी नहीं है, ये डेमोक्रेसी है। डेमोक्रेसी को उल्टी अब गिनाते हैं हिपोक्रेसी बोल के। मांग को डेमोक्रेसी कहते हैं, मांग को हिपोक्रेसी नहीं कहते। और आप जो करते हैं सीतारमण जी और आपकी सरकार, उसको ऑटोक्रेसी कहते हैं, मतलब तानाशाही कहते हैं।
A meeting is scheduled. What is going to be the future plan of action?
No, today we are discussing about it and we will come to a decision before the House commences today. But already we are given notice under Rule 267 And chairman directed that the notices should be in a different order, and today I have rectified what he has said and sent a notice. We just want to have an elaborate discussion, and we insist that a JPC has to be constituted to go into the issue. Because it is maybe an individual organization, but it is one of the big industrialists. The impact of it is on India's economy, as well as morally it is also being questioned. So the government has a responsibility to discuss it, and the parliament is here, of course, only to discuss such issues.
So since from the day one we are seeing that the opposition party rather is saying that they want discussion, they want JPC. But on the other hand, this government who is saying first let the presidential speech happen and discussion happen. Then after we are ready for any kind of discussion.
See, we know very well that we can discuss anything under the sky during the president's address. But on a particular issue, if the government has to respond, we have to discuss on that issue, on a separate motion. Otherwise, when we talk too many things in the president's address, the government there are chances to skip that without replying. That's why we are insisting that there must be an exclusive debate on that.
Sir, when we talk about, one last question to you, sir. When we are talking about this winter session, monsoon session, and now the budget session, continuously we are seeing that Parliament is not able to work because of this uproar only in the both houses.
Not always, not always. When some issues crop up, see, running the Parliament smooth is not the responsibility of only the opposition parties. It is also that lies with the treasury benches. If they yield to some of our genuine demands, see, we are raising issues which are the concern of the people, and we are here only to voice them out. So the government has to respond to that. If the government is very rigid and adamant and is not prepared for any discussion, only on democratic process we are also insisting.
Time for a short break. On the other side, Prime Minister expresses solidarity with Turkey, extends all possible help in relief operations. Bengaluru bassist composed Ricky Cage Makes India Proud wins 3rd Grammy for Best Immersive Audio Album.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए, और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact on Sunday, said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds. And situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
A major earthquake of magnitude 7.8 in 7 Turkish provinces was felt in Cyprus, Lebanon and Syria, collapsing dozens of buildings and triggering a search for survivors under the rubble in snowy streets. At least 360 were killed and hundreds injured in the powerful earthquake that hit Turkey. The toll is expected to rise as rescue and relief operations continued in full swing to aid the aggrieved ones. Rescue workers and residents frantically search for survivors under the rubble of their homes in multiple cities, working through tangles of metal and chunks of concrete on the Syrian side of the border. The quake smashed the regions that are packed with some 4 million people displaced by the country's long civil war. In one quake struck Turkish city Adana, where people were scouring through rubble of collapsed buildings as the sun rose, finding personal items and searching for those stuck under the rubble. The quake felt as far away as Cairo. Senators on February 15 will receive a classified briefing on the Chinese balloon that was shot down by the US military, which will also include information on how the US stacks up against China militarily.
Condemn President Xi's brazen incursion into American airspace. And I commend President Biden's leadership in taking down the Chinese balloon over water to ensure safety for all Americans and maximize the intelligence we gain. So let me give you some background. Now we can collect the equipment and analyze the technology used by the Chinese Communist Party, because it was shot down over water.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that his government has introduced sanctions on Russia's nuclear industry and called on other countries to follow Ukraine's lead. Zelensky further added that Russia is the only country in the world that allows its military to shell nuclear power plants. A Swiss parliamentary delegation met with Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen to seek further bilateral cooperation and exchanges. During their 6-day visit, the delegation is led by co-chairs of the Swiss-Taiwan Parliamentary Friendship Group.
और निम्न वर्ग वो सब चिंतित हैं और सरकार पर्दा डालने की कोशिश कर रही है। वो व्यक्ति कहते हैं, व्यक्ति विशेष अडानी
in Melbourne was extensively damaged by a fire late on Sunday. About 80 firefighters tackled the blaze at the Bright Moon Buddhist Temple in Springvale South for more than 2 hours to bring it under control.
It was an extensive fire, like very rapidly developing and quite spectacular to, and it was seen for many kilometres around.
And do we have a cause yet?
No, it's far too early to determine the cause. Specialist fire investigators have just arrived on scene and they'll be undertaking some investigations throughout the day.
The forest fires that have raged in southern Chile since Thursday have caused the deaths of 24 people and the destruction of 800 homes. There are 260 fires burning in the South American nation, of which 148 are already under control. Time for a short commercial break. On the other side, getting you details. No Delhi mayor elections for the third time amid that major face-off between the Aam Aadmi Party and BJP. Yogi government slaps National Security Act on the two involved in burning of Ramcharitmanas.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहां पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए। और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact on Sunday, said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94 loan lending apps with Chinese links on an urgent and emergency basis. Raking up the issue of Vinod Adani, Congress asked why no central agency has so far investigated against Gautam Adani. Congress trailed guns at the BJP, saying why has he not been questioned so far. Telangana Chief Minister KCR took a jibe at Prime Minister Modi and demanded a discussion on Adani in Parliament. He said I demand that from the Prime Minister that this big scam has happened and that they should allow discussion in the Parliament. If you do not allow it, you will be blamed.
कांग्रेस गया, बीजेपी आया, भाई वही।
After the cracks that have developed in several houses in Doda, now this time the cracks have started to develop in several houses in the Ramsu area of the Ramban district. This is in the Sujmata hilltops where the cracks have started developing, and 2 houses have been severely damaged while 3 others are now getting the cracks. Around a dozen houses are also on the verge of getting the cracks, and the reason is said to be the incessant rainfall that is taking place and also the construction activities that are taking place. The locals are alleging that the authorities have paid no heed, and that is why the families of 2 houses where the cracks have gone beyond repair and damaged them brutally have to be shifted to the nearby safer facility. The family members are also alleging that despite several reminders, the administration and the National Highway Authority of India didn't pay heed, and that led to these kind of circumstances. With Sarjeevan Kumar, Gursimran Singh for Public Media Network.
Prime Minister Modi expresses solidarity with Turkey, extends all possible help and relief operations. Bengaluru bassist composed Ricky Cage Makes India Proud wins 3rd Grammy for Best Immersive Audio Album.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए। और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact, on Sunday said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94 loan lending apps with Chinese links on an urgent and emergency basis. Raking up the issue of Vinod Adani, Congress asked why no central agency has so far investigated against Gautam Adani. Congress trailed guns at the BJP, saying why has he not been questioned so far. Telangana Chief Minister K.
IPL legends Chris Gayle and MS Dhoni met each other recently before the IPL 2023 edition of the league will start in the last week of March. Sri Lanka legend, ahead of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, Sri Lanka legend Mahela Jayawardene wants Australia to win the series against India. This is in order to help Sri Lanka. An injured Mad Australia will be taking on India in the first test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy on February 9. Meanwhile, Ian Healy stirs controversy, says Australia cannot win in India by being conservative. Time for a short break. On the other side, no Delhi mayor elections for the third time amid major face-off between AAP and BJP.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहां पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए। और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact, on Sunday said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94 loan lending apps with Chinese links on an urgent and emergency basis. Raking up the issue of Vinod Adani, Congress asked why no central agency has so far investigated against Gautam Adani. Congress trailed guns at the BJP, saying why has he not been questioned so far? Telangana Chief Minister KCR took a jibe at Prime Minister Modi.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's dive right into the top stories this hour on Superfast 50 with me, Ankit Prasad. Several opposition parties met at the leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge's chambers in the Parliament building to chalk out a strategy on the Adani Hindenburg row and other issues for the ongoing budget session today. Despite the government making its stand clear on the Adani issue, opposition politics over the matter continues. The opposition MPs raised slogans against the government and disrupted the proceedings of the House, demanding a discussion.
माननीय सदस्यगण, मेरा आपसे आग्रह है कि संसद का समय बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। आज देश के मजदूरों से संबंधित प्रश्न है। आप प्रश्न पूछें, माननीय मंत्री जी जवाब देने को तैयार हैं। ये सदन देश की दिशा तय करता है। चर्चा और संवाद के लिए आपको किसी विषय पर चर्चा और संवाद करनी है तो आप बातचीत करें। आप बिना बातचीत के केवल नियोजित तरीके से सदन को स्थगित कराना ये उचित नहीं है।
From Chennai to Hyderabad and to Bengaluru, the Vadra Congress staged pan-India protest demanding a discussion over the Adani issue as well.
अडानी को इतना बड़ा आदमी तो नहीं है कि उसने अपने घर का पैसा ही लगाया है। गरीबों के पैसा जो बैंकों में, गवर्नमेंट बैंक्स के अंदर है, उन्हीं को इस आदमी ने लूटा है और गवर्नमेंट ने उसको लोन दिया और आसानी से उसके शेयर गिरते हैं। बहुत ही कम उम्र में बहुत जल्दी वो इस देश का अमीर आदमी बन गया। वो कैसे बने, इस बीजेपी सरकार ने बनाया। सीधी सी बात है, कहीं ना कहीं उनको पैसा देते हैं। हम मांग करते हैं कि पूरी एक ज्वाइंट कमेटी की बात हो और पार्लियामेंट के अंदर भी इसकी बात हो, इसकी जांच हो।
The Congress launched a countrywide campaign over the Hindenburg-Adani row by staging protests in different parts of the country. Members of the Congress in Telangana staged a protest outside the State Bank of India office in Hyderabad over the Adani issue. Opposition parties also staged a protest at the Gandhi statue in Parliament over the Adani row. The leaders are demanding a joint parliamentary committee monitored probe. A protest was also held by the National Students Union of India, the NSUI of the Congress, in Delhi, demanding a joint parliamentary committee probe over the Adani row. Questioning the centre, the Vadra Congress asked why the government is silent over what it called a financial scam. This comes as opposition continues to question the Modi government over the Adani issue.
और सरकार अब तक चुप क्यों बैठी? इतना बड़ा घोटाला होने के बाद भी गवर्नमेंट चुप्पी साधी है। खासकर मोदी जी कुछ भी बोल रहे नहीं, वो अपने दूसरे मंत्रियों से कुछ कहला रहे हैं, लेकिन जो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट बहुत ही करीबी है प्रधानमंत्री जी के, वो उन्होंने कुछ बोलना चाहिए।
Attacking the government, the Vadra Congress said Prime Minister deploys Nirmala Sitharaman for everything, then why not answer on the Adani issue? Further adding that it has now become a state of hypocrisy and not democracy.
आज की सरकार चलता है जिसको कहते हैं कि ऑटोक्रेट, और जो नियम अपनाता है उसको कहते हैं कि ऑटोक्रेसी। मैंने निर्मला सीतारमण जी को ये सलाह देना चाहते हैं कि हिंदुस्तान में डेमोक्रेसी बरकरार रही है, ऑटोक्रेसी के बदले डेमोक्रेसी बरकरार रही है, और हिपोक्रेसी है या नहीं है ये तो सदन में पता चलेगी। हमारी जब जो बात हम रखते हैं वो हिपोक्रेसिक बात नहीं रखते, इसमें कोई हिपोक्रेसी नहीं है।
Raking up the Adani issue, the DMK also joined in the chorus, demanding a joint parliamentary committee monitored probe and a discussion with the government in parliament.
They will come to a decision before the House commences today. But already we are given notice under Rule 267. And Chairman directed that the notices should be in a different order, and today I have rectified what he has said and sent a notice. We just want to have an elaborate discussion, and we insist that a JPC has to be constituted to go into the issue.
Another PIL has been filed in the Supreme Court over the Adani Hindenburg issue. The petition has been filed by a Supreme Court lawyer demanding an investigation into the matter. Meanwhile, coming to the stock markets, for the last 12 days, Gautam Adani-led Adani Group has been bearing the brunt of the US short seller Hindenburg report on the group. While Adani Ports was in green, Adani Group continues to dominate the India infrastructure but faces turbulence as the market cap continues to erode. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the India Energy Week 2023 in Bengaluru. Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas Hardeep Singh Puri, Karnataka Governor Thawar Chand Gehlot and Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai were also present at the event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the inauguration also launched the 20-pound fuel, a blend of 20% ethanol with petrol and dedicated to the nation, HAL's helicopter factory in Tumkuru. Prime Minister Modi, while addressing the people at the India Energy Week 2023 in Bengaluru, said that the National Green Hydrogen Mission would give a new direction to India in the 21st century, and that they are working on a mission mode to increase the energy mix, the natural gas consumption by the year 2030.
21वीं सदी के विश्व का भविष्य तय करने में एनर्जी सेक्टर की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। एनर्जी के नए रिसोर्सेज को डेवलप करने में, एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन में आज भारत विश्व के सबसे मजबूत आवाजों में से एक है।
After the Vadra Congress condoled the demise of Pakistan's wily former military ruler and main architect of the 1999 Kargil War, Pervez Musharraf, Union Minister of Civil Aviation Jyotiraditya Scindia launched an unsparing attack on the Congress, asking if it is a joint hand-to-hand campaign with enemies. A war of words erupted between Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai and JDS leader H.D. Kumaraswamy over the latter's casteist remark. This comes after Kumaraswamy sparked a row, alleging that the RSS is conspiring to make Prahlad Joshi the Chief Minister, further attacking the minister, stating that he lacked culture and divides society as he hails from backward community. The municipal house election in Delhi witnessed an uproar after presiding officer Satya Sharma announced that the nominated members will also be allowed to vote for the elections for the mayor. deputy mayor and standing committee members. Ahead of the MCD House session on Monday, Aam Aadmi Party alleged, or rather accused, that the BJP has instructed its councillors to create a ruckus like the last time the mayoral elections were stalled.
They will come to a decision before the House commences today. But already we are given notice under Rule 267.
After the Delhi MCD House was adjourned for the third time in a month without electing a mayor, Aam Aadmi Party leader Atishi said that the party will move the Supreme Court so that the polls can be held in a court-monitored manner.
देखिए, आम आदमी पार्टी तो चाहती है कि जल्द से जल्द मेयर का चुनाव हो, सरकार बने और दिल्ली की जनता का काम शुरू हो। हम तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी से अपील करेंगे कि दिल्ली की जनता के जनादेश को स्वीकार कीजिए और अब आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बनने दीजिए, आम आदमी पार्टी का मेयर बनने दीजिए। अगर हम काम नहीं करते हैं, अगर हम कुछ गलत करते हैं, तो दिल्ली की जनता 5 साल के बाद हमें निकाल कर बाहर कर देगी। लेकिन इस बार दिल्ली की जनता ने बहुमत के साथ, भारी बहुमत के साथ आम आदमी पार्टी को चुन के भेजा है, तो मेरा तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी से यही अपील है कि चुनाव होने दें।
Meanwhile, the BJP retorted, saying that it is the AAP which has started, or rather asked its councillors to stall parliament, and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal will be responsible if the House is adjourned.
Aam Aadmi Party, if they are having majority, तो आई डोंट नो व्हाई दे आर डूइंग दिस थिंग कि आज आपके बड़े बड़े नेता, आपके सीनियर लीडर्स बीजेपी के काउंसलर्स को संपर्क करते हैं और उन्हें ये लालच देते हैं कि बीजेपी के पास कुछ नहीं है और हमारे पास चेयरमैन ही है, हम आपको चेयरमैन बना देंगे, हम आपको एमएलए का टिकट दे देंगे, आप पैसा बोलिए कितना पैसा चाहिए। अगर आपकी मेजोरिटी है तो आप क्यों कर रहे हैं ऐसा? आप क्यों बीजेपी के काउंसलर्स के साथ में जाके संपर्क कर रहे हैं? इसका जवाब तो उन्हें ही देना चाहिए।
Paving the way for the entry of the CBI into the poaching of Telangana MLA's case, the High Court dismissed an appeal by the state government that was seeking the continuation of the probe led by the state police, the special investigation team, challenging the case being handed over to the CBI. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is set to arrive in Tripura to address 2 election rallies and join a roadshow to boost the BJP's campaign in the poll-bound state. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee is also scheduled to arrive in the state and attend a roadshow and address a public meeting. Elections to the 60-member assembly will be held on February 16th. The total number of people arrested in connection with child marriages has escalated to 2,441, informed Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, further adding that the crackdown against child marriage in Assam continues. Home buyers along with their families on Sunday held peaceful protests in stalled residential complexes at the Patra Chaul in Goregaon in Mumbai, demanding immediate possession of their flats. Protesters formed a human chain outside the complexes Ekta Tripolis and the Luxor by Sangam Life Spaces. Patiala Member of Parliament Preneet Kaur has hit back at the Congress for issuing her a show-cause notice for alleged anti-party activities, saying it is free to take whatever action it wants against her. Kaur has been suspended by the party for alleged anti-party activities after Punjab Congress chief and other leaders of the state complained against her. The Stringent National Security Act, or NSA, has been invoked against 2 people lodged in jail for allegedly burning photocopies of extracts from the Ramcharitramanas. The 2, Salim and Satyendra Kushwaha, are in jail in connection with a case lodged at the PGI police station on January 29th after photocopies of extracts from the epic sacred texts were burnt. Nagaland Chief Minister Nephew Rio filed his nomination from the 11 Northern Agami 2 constituency for the upcoming assembly elections in the state. Rio thanked the people of his constituency and sought their support yet again. The civil aviation regulator, the DGCA, has imposed a 70 lakh rupee fine on Air Vistara for not having operated the minimum number of mandated flights to underserved areas of the country's northeast regions. The fine was imposed in October last year for not complying with the rules in April 2022. PM Modi will inaugurate the Vande Bharat Express in Mumbai on 10th of February. In wake of PM Modi's visit, drones and flying activities are banned in the jurisdiction of the airport police station Sahar, Kolaba police station and the MRA Marg police station as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while addressing the India Energy Week in Bengaluru, said that India is ready to provide all possible help to the earthquake-affected people in Turkey and Syria.
के 140 करोड़ लोगों की संवेदनाएं सभी भूकंप पीड़ितों के साथ है। भारत भूकंप पीड़ितों की हर संभव मदद के लिए तत्पर है।
A major earthquake of magnitude 7.8 on the Richter scale hit 7 Turkish provinces and was felt in Cyprus, Lebanon and in neighboring Syria as well, collapsing dozens of buildings and triggering a search for survivors under the rubble in snowy streets. At least 360 people were killed and hundreds injured in the powerful earthquake that hit Turkey, and the toll is expected to rise as rescue and relief operations continued in full swing to aid the aggrieved ones. Rescue workers and residents frantically searched for survivors under the rubble of their homes in multiple cities, working through tangles of metal and chunks of concrete. On the Syrian side of the border, the quake smashed the regions that are packed with some 4 million people displaced by the country's long-going civil war. In one quake-struck Turkish city, Adana, people were scouring through rubble of collapsed buildings as the sun rose, finding personal items and searching for those stuck under the debris. The quake, which was felt as far away as Cairo, was centered north of the city of Gaziantep in an area about 90 kilometers from the Syrian border. US senators on February 15th will receive a classified briefing on the Chinese spy balloon that was shot down by US military, which will also include information on how the US stacks up against China militarily.
Only condemn President Xi's brazen incursion into American airspace. And I commend President Biden's leadership in taking down the Chinese balloon over water to ensure safety for all Americans and maximize the intelligence we gain. So let me give you some background. Now we can collect the equipment and analyze the technology used by the Chinese Communist Party because it was shot down over water.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that his government has introduced sanctions on Russia's nuclear industry and called on other countries to follow Ukraine's lead. Zelensky added that Russia is the only country in the world that allows its military to shell nuclear power plants. A Swiss parliamentary delegation met with Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen to seek further bilateral cooperation and exchanges during their 6-day visit. The delegation is led by co-chairs of the Swiss-Taiwan Parliamentary Friendship Group.
Essential that the existing differences and tensions between Taiwan and the PRC are resolved peacefully and through dialogue. Anything less would be unacceptable.
A Buddhist temple in Melbourne was extensively damaged by a fire late on Sunday. About 80 firefighters tackled the blaze at the Bright Moon Buddhist temple in Springvale South for more than 2 hours to bring it under control.
Extensive fire, like very rapidly developing and quite spectacular to, and it was seen for many kilometres around.
And do we have a cause yet?
No, it's far too early to determine the cause. Specialist fire investigators have just arrived on scene and they'll be undertaking some investigations throughout the day.
The forest fires that have raged in southern Chile since Thursday have caused the deaths of 24 people and the destruction of 800 homes. There are 260 fires burning in the South American nation, of which 148 are under control at the moment. A group of unidentified miscreants attacked 14 Hindu temples and vandalized the idols in the northwestern part of Bangladesh in what seems to be a series of orchestrated attacks against the Hindu community. The police have now launched a probe to nab the perpetrators of this act.
Gulmarg is all set to host the third edition of the Khelo India Winter Games. More than 1,500 participants are expected to participate in the mega sports event scheduled to commence on February the 10th. Recently, Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Thakur, along with J&K Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, launched the third Khelo India National Winter Games anthem, the mascot and the jersey. Former Indian cricket icon Sachin Tendulkar took to social media to pay his heartfelt tribute to the legendary Lata Mangeshkar on the latter's first death anniversary. IPL legends Chris Gayle and MS Dhoni met recently before the Indian Premier League 2023 edition kicks off, which is slated to take place in the last week of March. Ahead of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, Sri Lanka legend Mahela Jayawardena wants Australia to win the series against India, this in order to help Sri Lanka in the positions. An injury-marred Australia will be taking on India in the first test match of the Border Gavaskar Trophy on February the 9th. Meanwhile, Ian Healy has stirred a controversy saying that Australia cannot win in India by being conservative. Former Real Madrid player grabbed the neck of Crystal Palace's Will Hughes. This is Casemiro for Manchester United. The Brazilian has got a 3-match suspension after Man U won the Premier League match. The New Orleans Pelicans' Trey Murphy III scored 30 points and 6 3-pointers against the Sacramento Kings. The Nuggets have fallen to the Timberwolves with Nikola Jokic and several other starters injured. Superstar footballer Cristiano Ronaldo turned 38 on Sunday, and he took to his social media handle to share pictures of himself celebrating with his family and friends. Anshul Jubli became only the second Indian-born fighter after Bharat Khandare to bag a UFC contract with a win in Las Vegas. Erik ten Hag is looking to release at least 6 players from the current Manchester United squad so that he can afford to bring in new signings during the transfer window, sources say.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहां पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए, और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact on Sunday, said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971.
What is happening in the House. As you can see, presiding officer clearly stated that Akhilesh Tripathi and Sanjeev Kumar, the MLAs of Aam Aadmi Party, against whom corruption cases is already going on, they are not allowed to vote today. And against them, BJP councillors have started protesting inside the house. These two Aam Aadmi Party MLAs should go out of the house and they are not allowed to vote today. It is the third time the election for the voting for mayor and deputy mayor couldn't be done. The house has been adjourned.
The India Energy Week was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the mantra of recycle, reuse and renewable as well. And largely it was mainly stressed on the facts of renewable and sustainable energy as well. And right behind me, just a few minutes ago, the Prime Minister also went on to launch the E20 ethanol fuel, which would go on and cut the prices of fuel by around 20%. And apart from that, the twin-powered solar cooker, which would be reaching out to over 3 crore households in the coming year, is the sort of target which was given by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and largely also concentrating on the internal pipelines of the gas structure. It is being stated that from 2014 till this year in 2023, they have covered a distance of 22,000 kilometers, and in the next 5 years, the government of India's target will be to go on and provide infrastructure for 35,000 kilometers, which is definitely massive as well.
And a lot more news coming up. There is a sigh of relief breathed by the Adani Group as some of its stocks are now in the green. Now the Vadra Congress first eulogizes the Kargil conspirator and now defends Pervez Musharraf. The BJP hits out. More news after a short break. Stay with us.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहां पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए, और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen today, in fact on Sunday, said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94 loan lending apps with Chinese links on an urgent and emergency basis. Raking up the issue of Vinod Adani, Gautam, Congress asked why no central agency has so far investigated charges. Thanks for tuning in. This Monday afternoon, we are live and breaking. I'm Samiksha Srivastava, tracking the big story this hour. Coming in from the national capital, where the process to elect the Delhi mayor was halted for the third consecutive time. We'll get you more top stories, starting first with the top headlines this Monday afternoon. A sigh of relief for Adani Group as some stocks are now in the green. Adani assures investors that over $1,100 million prepayment will be done before September 2024. But opposition politics continue, said ready for debate, now stalls parliament. First eulogizes Kargil conspirator Musharraf fan club, now defends BJP hits out. No Delhi mayor elections for the third time as AAP versus BJP face-off rages on. Powerful earthquake jolts Turkey. Death toll now mounts to more than 300. Rescue operations still said to be underway. Thanks for tuning in. This Monday afternoon, we start with a big story this hour. The Adani issue, which continues to flare up across the country, with the opposition making it the top focus. The visuals on your screens right now are from across the country. The protest which was staged by the Congress workers in cities including Mumbai, Bengaluru, Chennai, Hyderabad, Jammu and even the national capital. Well, we are also given to understand that the Adani stocks continue to trade in the red. With the market now ending, the trading ending for the day, but putting out those stock prices as we speak. Adani Enterprises that ended over 1% low at over a little above 1500 mark, and several of those stocks that continue to plunge in the market trade today. We have Rohit Srivastava joining us. If I can get your thoughts, your reading of the market sentiment as of now, what we're given to understand is that even as we see a lot of discussions being that have been happening over the last few days, the market sentiment is quite negative as we speak.
Well, it does take time for sentiment to settle down, but if you actually look at the price action of the Adani Group on Friday itself, we saw prices recover from a low. For example, Adani Enterprises hitting 1017 on the low, and then coming back to 1600, which is like a 50% recovery from the low. Now, of course, it's still way down from the highs. But I think that part of the impact is sort of digested. I mean, today's decline in the market, I wouldn't really attribute it much to the Adani Group, because Adani Ports is actually up 3-4%, and 1% decline in Adani Enterprises doesn't really count much in the overall scheme of things. I think what is really happening is markets are now starting to behave and respond to global cues, is what we are seeing today. And I think even because, after this big decline, if you actually look at it, Nifty doesn't really have that much weightage in the of the Adani groups in itself. Already the weightage at the start was not more than, say, 2%. And now with this fall, it is further lowered. And that means its actual impact on day-to-day movement of the main index is not so much. And if we actually look at the alternate index, which is Sensex, it has none of the Adani stocks. So the impact is mostly on Nifty and limited only to that, small weightage that it has. And so I think somewhere, the market's going to slowly, start overlooking this issue in the days ahead.
Saying that the macro picture continues to be bleak at this point, but the Adani promoters have posted amounts to prepay almost $1.5 billion ahead of the maturity, which would happen by 2024 of September. Do you think that would some way assuage the concerns of the investors?
Yeah, definitely. See, they've tried to come across with some news flow. For example, we had the Fitch ratings on Friday. We have this discussion of them being able to repay some of the loans and lower the debt levels. Because partly raising equity from the market is the whole idea of any company is to reduce the cost of capital, which is a combination of cost of debt and cost of equity. So you either raise equity at a high price or you raise debt at a low cost. Either way, you need to reduce the cost of capital to make the company's financials continue viably. So in the long term, so it's not so it's something that any large concern which has grown will tend to do because any company that you've seen historically that has grown in the infrastructure area usually has a high leverage ratio, but eventually they need to bring it down with future cash flows. And I think that's the process that Adani is going through. And this has been one of the first, major hurdles they faced in the process. Any news flow which, helps us feel that, yes, they are able to manage finances better, or that the, underlying risks are, lowering, then I think markets would take that positively.
So simply put, would you say that the market experts, the investors abroad are still bullish on the Adani stocks?
Well, global investors are tough to say. I mean, see, just look at the shareholding. Like, you have 75% with the promoter group, you have 20% held by private investors. There's less than 10% really with the public, and public or institutional investors. So it's really a very small percentage on which to comment, whether the feeling of foreign investors matters and to what extent it really matters when their shareholding is really that small.
Also, if you could throw light once again on the exposure that LIC and SBI has when it comes to Adani Group, it's less than 1% is what we're given to understand. If you can put this into perspective for us, how much of that amounts to less than 1% that LIC and SBI exposure they have with Adani Group?
Yeah, so if we look at each of these stocks, say for example, State Bank of India, the amount of decline or correction we've seen recently in SBI would be far greater than, even if there was a significant write down of the loans that they have given to Adani. So the market has definitely overreacted when it comes to individual stocks. The exposures they've already explained. In fact, they also don't have any, pledge shares with SBI or, any of these banks. So what happens is when the stock price really falls, if you did have pledge shares and if it was at a higher price, then you would have to call for margin from the promoter. And if they didn't pay up, then you would have to sell. That kind of pressure, similar like margin funding pressure that comes on individual investors, that kind of pressure ends up coming on the promoters, and then that loss ends up being with the bank. Now, the bank has mentioned that they've really not, given any loan against shares. So that also is really ease for the bank itself.
Also, we understand that one of the stocks of the Adani Group has been put under the ban for trade this morning, which of course has ended for the day. But what does this really mean in the long term for the Adani Group?
No, see, wherever there's a significant price move, I think the exchanges have these guidelines in terms of where there should be a price freeze. So we'll see how this really translates, in the days ahead. As long as the major group names are not affected, I think every company goes through something like this. But of course, we haven't seen it where it really hit the media at large. There have been groups in the past where many companies were listed. Some of them got delisted or are no more, or got merged back into some of the existing companies. It did not create a furor, but because of this report, it has sort of had a sense that everything matters. So I would really have to look into. I think so far it's just volatility management as far as the exchanges are concerned, which is part of their process.
And also the fact, we've seen in the last few days how the market cap has eroded to a significant extent. But the very fact that the promoters have decided to repay the amount, to prepay, to be precise, $1.5 billion ahead of the maturity in September of 2024, do you think that would in many ways allay the concerns of the global investors?
Well, it should. I think what they'll really have to also do is spend some time, with the rating agencies or any of the banks that are, trying to downgrade the credit or, raise issues. They would have to probably share additional or fresh information with them and, get them to upgrade or, restate their ratings for the company. That entire process takes a while. And once done, it definitely will improve the foreign investor approach towards the Adani Group.
And talking specifically about the cement sector, that contributes significantly to the business of Adani Group. How much of that has really taken a hit post the Hindenburg report?
Whoever I have spoken to, especially those who are, doing fundamental research into the, companies that they've recently bought out, for example, the Ambuja Group, which is what you're probably referring to in cement. Most investors' first reaction was, in fact, out of all the companies they got, you might as well buy the Ambuja cement stock because, and this is other people's opinion, and we are not really giving a recommendation, but what I'm saying is analysts' first reaction is quite positive towards Ambuja stock because of its cash flow in business. So that's been sort of the reaction I've gotten from analysts.
Just before we let you go, if you were to sum it all, would you say that the investors' sentiment is still quite bullish on Adani Group?
No, I think the sentiment which was affected by the events around the Adani Group and that were impacting maybe the markets through the budget and most of last week, some of that is settled now, which means they would go back to looking at how the economy performs, what would be the impact of the budget on the economy in general, and, which sectors to really look at from an investment perspective, because stocks have come down. Now, when it comes to investing in the Adani Group itself, I think people are going to think for a while, because whenever a stock which had a very high valuation, now that is a fact, valuations were high. That is, I think, the only thing which we can say is fact. Everything else is a question mark and an unknown that needs to be proven in a court of law. Now, when evaluations come down from a significant level, historically we've seen that other companies that have been through a high valuation phase often take a long period of time to go back to those levels that they were at. So we have to give it that kind of time. We'll also have to wait and see that there's no fresh fallout out of this whole issue that can cause prices to fall. Right now, it will look like, maybe the worst is over, maybe it's bottomed out, they've made announcements. Good. But usually we wait for some time to see there's no other negative fallout and more clarifications. Then we are able to really assess that, the downside risks are at least capped. And that's, I think, we still need to try and figure that out.
All right, we leave it at that. Appreciate you speaking to us. So Rohit Srivastava, there, founder of India Chart, speaking to Republic. Remains to be seen whether the Adani Group is able to recoup the losses it has been seeing in the markets. Slipping into a very short break for now, but top stories to continue on the other side as well. First, eulogizes Kargil conspirator Musharraf. Fan club now defends. BJP hits out. No Delhi mayor elections for the third time as AAP versus BJP face-off rages on. And news in brief, General Pervez Musharraf, who seized power in a bloodless coup and later led a reluctant Pakistan into aiding the US war in Afghanistan, passed away at the age of 79 in Dubai hospital. Vadra Congress eulogized Kargil conspirator General Pervez Musharraf. Shashi Tharoor said, and I quote, "Once an impeccable foe of India, he became a real force for peace between 2002 to 2007. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti also eulogized Kargil conspirator Pervez Musharraf. She said, and I quote, "Deepest condolences, perhaps the only Pak general who genuinely tried to address the Kashmir issue. He wanted a solution according to wishes of people of J&K and acceptable to India and Pakistan." After Vadra, Congress and Mehbooba Mufti eulogized Kargil conspirator Parvez Musharraf, BJP came down heavily on Vadra Congress and Mufti for lionizing Musharraf.
जनरल मुशर्रफ है, मैं उनको पहले तो जो उनका आज देहांत हुआ है उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं। अगर वो शांति लाना चाहते थे, कम से कम अपने देश में शांति लाते, वहां से तो उनको निकाल दिया गया। लेकिन आज भी जो हमारे यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान की सपोर्ट करने वाली लॉबी है वो जरूर एक्टिव हो जाती है। भारत के विरुद्ध किस प्रकार से बात करने का उनको मौका मिले, उनको एक समय चाहिए। और आज उनके देहांत पर ये इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है।
Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momin today, in fact, on Sunday said Bangladesh wants Pakistan to seek apology publicly with a formal announcement for the atrocities perpetrated against unharmed people in 1971. Big public impact. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has initiated process to ban and block 138 betting apps and 94 loan lending apps with Chinese links on an urgent and emergency basis. Raking up the issue of Vinod Adani, Congress asked why no central agency has so far investigated against Gautam Adani. Congress trailed guns at the BJP, saying why has he not been questioned so far? Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the India Energy Week 2023 in Bengaluru and launched E20 fuel, which is a blend of 20% ethanol with petrol, and dedicated to the nation the HAL's helicopter factory in Tumakuru district. After Vadra, Congress condoled the demise of the Kargil conspirator General Musharraf. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia trained guns at the opposition, asking if it is a joint hand-to-hand campaign with the enemies. Meanwhile, a war of words erupted between the Karnataka Chief Minister Bommai and JDS leader H.D. Kumaraswamy over the latter's casteist remark. This comes after Kumaraswamy sparked a row alleging that RSS is conspiring to make Prahlad Joshi the Chief Minister, further attacking the minister, stating that he lacked culture and divides society as he hailed from a backward community. Ahead of the MCD House session on Monday, AAP alleged that BJP has instructed its councillors to create a ruckus like the last time to stall the mayoral elections.
They will come to a decision before the House commences today. But already we are given notice under Rule 267. And Chairman directed that the notices should be in a different order, and today I have rectified what he has said and sent a notice. We just want to have an elaborate discussion, and we insist that a JPC has to be constituted to go into the issue.
Meanwhile, BJP retorted, saying that it is the Aam Aadmi Party which has asked its councillors to do so, and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal would be held responsible if the House is adjourned.
If they are having majority, तो आई डोंट नो व्हाई दे आर डूइंग दिस थिंग कि आज आपके बड़े बड़े नेता, आपके सीनियर लीडर्स बीजेपी के काउंसलर्स को संपर्क करते हैं और उन्हें ये लालच देते हैं कि बीजेपी के पास कुछ नहीं है और हमारे पास चेयरमैन ही है, हम आपको चेयरमैन बना देंगे, हम आपको एमएलए का टिकट दे देंगे, आप पैसा बोलिए कितना पैसा चाहिए। अगर आपकी मेजोरिटी है तो आप क्यों कर रहे हैं ऐसा? आप क्यों बीजेपी के काउंसलर्स के साथ में जाके संपर्क कर रहे हैं? इसका जवाब तो उन्हें ही देना चाहिए।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah said to arrive in Tripura to address 2 election rallies and join a roadshow to boost BJP's campaign in poll-bound state. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is also scheduled to arrive in the state and attend a roadshow and also address a public meeting. Meanwhile, Ricky Cage won the Grammy this year for the 3rd time for his album Divine Tides. His album was nominated in the Best Immersive Audio Album category. A group of unidentified miscreants attacked 14 Hindu temples and vandalized the idols in the northwestern part of Bangladesh in what seems to be a series of orchestrated attacks against the Hindu community. Meanwhile, a major earthquake of magnitude 7.8 killed as many as 180 in 7 Turkish provinces and was felt in Cyprus, Lebanon and Syria as well, collapsing dozens of buildings and triggering a search for survivors under the rubble in the streets. The US Embassy in India, meanwhile, has informed that Indians would be travelling abroad can get a visa appointment at the US Embassy or consulate of their destination.
See, the Congress party is staging a protest. I'll request Sarjeevan to move to the visuals that these are the protests that are taking place. The Congress workers, they have been stopped by the Jammu and Kashmir police, but they are not stopping. They are saying that they want the Joint Parliamentary Committee, and without JPC, they have no demands. Scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming to this place, but now what the Congress workers are doing, that they are pushing these barricades so that they can come over to this side. However, the police has made it amply clear that the Congress workers won't be allowed, and the scuffle that is taking place between the Congress top leadership as well as the Jammu and Kashmir police, because they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office. But this scuffle is taking place where the Congress workers, they are pushing these barricades. They are trying to break these barricadings by the Jammu and Kashmir police, and they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure, that the government has put the stakes of the countries when it comes to the LIC and SPI. However, despite many clarifications by the police, by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well, where the barricades have been broken by the Congress workers, saying that the police is trying to stop them from holding the protest, but the police is saying that only this permission was granted, and if the Congress workers try to break this, then they will be detained. I'll request Sarjeevan to come this way, as the Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police, as the police, they have broken the barricading.
Very short break. Coming up on the other side, we'll get you the latest as from across the globe. But first up, a quick check of the top headlines from across the globe. A massive earthquake of magnitude 7.8 hit Turkey, killing at least 195 people.